WrestleManiacs, maniacs. This is the podcast, it's called WrestleManiacs. Adam, Donald, Indian Josh, they're not together forever and son. WrestleManiacs. This is the podcast, it's called WrestleManiacs. WWE, AEW, TNA, JPW. WrestleManiacs.
Hey, welcome WrestleManiacs, both guys and gals, to the WWE Smackdown review tonight on the WrestleManiacs podcast under the A Plus Hero Report banner. Again, here it's your boy Josh, or at Gamer Peroski, and tonight we're going to be reviewing again WWE Smackdown on April the 19th, 2024, and one hell of a show we had tonight. And let's just get started. Tonight, we started out SmackDown with a number one contenders match for the undisputed WWE Championship. The winner of this match would be the person to challenge AJ Styles in Lyon, France, here in a couple of weeks for the, they would challenge Cody Rhodes, excuse me. I already gave you the spoiler. They would challenge Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship at Backlash in France. So we had a WrestleMania rematch between LA Knight and AJ Styles. A pretty good match, pretty hard hitting, but I've got to say, folks, for me, this match kind of was quick. It was blink and you missed it. I mean, again, maybe 10, 15 minutes or so, but I didn't really expect this match to be as short as it was. It was over probably, 10, 15 minutes. AJ Styles hit the phenomenal forearm, beat LA Knight, and we now have AJ Styles as the number one contender for the undisputed WWE Championship to face Cody Rhodes at Backlash. They've been kind of, I think, telegraphing this for a while since WrestleMania. Of course, Cody Rhodes had a promo a couple of weeks ago in the ring after he won the title, mentioning AJ Styles and him were the only NWA champions. So I kind of think this was something we all kind of expected. But, realistically, a pretty good match, I guess, for what it was. For the opener, I was definitely surprised. I expected it to be the main event, but overall good. So what we do next after that is we actually have a big giant SUV arrive, and it's our boy Solo Sikoa. However, a little bit different Sikoa this night. We actually have Solo in like a suit, minus, of course, a tie, but a dressed up Solo. And Paul kind of just comes up and said, hey, what's the deal? And we get a new Solo. I mean, again, this is kind of telegraphing that Solo Sikoa is here for business, and he's here for bloodline business. Hey, Ram Jam, how's it going? Hey, it's going great here again. Thanks for joining me on this WWE Smackdown review tonight. Definitely give me your comments and concerns, all of you, who what you thought about tonight's SmackDown as we kind of talk about topics as well. So again, going back to it, Solo arrives in a suit and is here for bloodline family business. And again, Paul Heyman still seems confused at Solo's, I guess, ascension, at least in Solo's mind. So we'll kind of keep continuing on with that here later on this evening. So what we get next is actually Triple H coming out to the ring with Nick Aldis already in the ring to present the new WWE Tag Team Championships to A-Town Down Under. I've got to say, guys and gals, this is probably one of the best tag team championships I think we've ever had. Admittedly, on the Raw review, I wasn't terribly much a fan of the new Raw tag team titles, but these almost seem like a throwback to the 98, I dare say, WWE or WWF at the time, tag team championships, but all emblazoned in gold. And, I've got to say, I think not Austin Theory. Goodness me, I just drew a blank. Anyways, Grayson Waller. I don't know why I blanked there. Grayson Waller basically said, how are you going to make us look any better? And I'll tell you what, those new tag team championships make them look a heck of a lot better than those toy titles they had before. So again, we get this interview again, Triple H is like, here's the titles. And what's interesting is a little bit of tension, a little bit of disrespect shown from A-Town Down Under. When Triple H goes to shake their hands, they both put their hands out like this. But instead of shaking Paul's hand, they actually shake one another's hand and basically disrespect Triple H. And Nick Aldis, as the GM, basically steps in and says, look, if you disrespect him again, just like R-Truth called him a magician on Monday Night Raw, I'll make sure you two disappear as well. So a little bit of a threat from the GM, a little bit more purpose, I guess, from Nick Aldis, where instead of Mr. Feckless, Adam Pearce is what I like to call him on Monday Night Raw. Again, he says, you know what, guys, actually on top of that, we're going to figure out who your new challengers are going to be. We're going to have the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE #1 contendership for the WWE Tag Team titles next. And it goes right into that. We've got the Street Profits versus the New Catch Republic versus Legado del Fantasma versus the Authors of Pain with the Final Testament. And boy, having to write just that banner there was a lot. So this match was really good. Again, I have to say it was a lot more than I expected. I really kind of expected AOP to dominate and maybe get, a couple of wins here or there. But surprisingly, we actually had the Street Profits win. But I want to talk about a few spots in the match that I thought were pretty awesome to see. We get a double moonsault from New Catch Republic to the outside. And at the same time, almost only a couple seconds after, you have Montez Ford diving over the turnbuckle, going to the outside as well. So you can imagine 2 moonsaults and then a dive. Very impressive. We also had a Tower of Doom with all of them pretty much getting a power bomb, superplexed, all that sort of stuff. Your typical spot, but pretty interesting to see all those guys fly out. And again, it was pretty awesome. And again, it was pretty neat to see Tyler Bate, with the help of the other team, pick up one of the guys from AOP and do the spin. So great match. Again, would I say it was better than the Raw match? That's hard to say. Again, I would say they're on par, at least at this point. So again, we have the Street Profits as our new #1 contenders. Again, not opposed to it. Again, they seem like they're hitting their stride now. And yeah, so we're going to have them probably, I imagine, challenging them pretty soon, maybe at Backlash. Who knows? We'll see. So what we get next backstage is an interview with Naomi, basically saying tonight is her night to reclaim the WWE Women's Championship, basically saying, look, it's been a couple years since she's been able to challenge for it. Later on, they talk about how long it's been since Naomi and Bayley actually challenged one another, and that was back in 2020 at the Saudi Arabia show, so 4 years ago, but 2 years for at least Naomi for the title. So again, we just, hyping up tonight. That's what I'm loving about WWE. They are hyping their matches now. They are hyping them so hard that they're basically saying, look, tonight, you can't miss this match tonight. And we'll talk a little bit later about the match, but definitely a good little hype with Naomi. I really like this. So what we get next after this is we actually have a interview with Bayley, who basically really says that she's going to stay the champion. Essentially, she's going to beat Naomi and basically, show that she should have won the match, or should stay champion, I should say. So again, a pretty good hype again for Bayley and Naomi. Next, what we get is actually backstage with Solo Sikoa, and Solo basically told Paul Heyman, you need to go and find Kevin Owens for me. He hasn't found him throughout the whole entire show. Paul Heyman basically says, Solo, look, you don't run this kingdom. You don't run the bloodline yet. You're making decisions you're not supposed to do. After pretty much telling Solo you're not in charge, essentially, without saying so, because he's afraid of Solo, Solo basically says, are you done yet? And basically heads out to the ring. So we come back and we actually got it to where Solo's in the ring. And interestingly enough, before Solo even speaks, we get from the crowd a "We Want Roman." That's interesting. Again, we all kind of know, I guess, where the storyline is going. WWE's pretty much telegraphing it, but the fact that the crowd is already getting behind Roman and waiting for Roman Reigns to return since he's been gone from WrestleMania 40, it's pretty interesting. So essentially Solo, has these problems and basically says, look, this is how it's going to be. Essentially, last week I lost a brother, but now I found a new one in Tama Tonga. So basically he looks to the crowd or looks to the main entrance, I should say. And we all of a sudden see a bloodied, like all the way over here to the head, to the face, Kevin Owens being thrown out from the backstage, and out comes Tama Tonga, pretty much showing that he is the one that found Kevin Owens, beat him up, basically, walks to the ring, essentially gets in the center, does the 1-up, and as they turn, Kevin Owens, of course, being Kevin Owens, goes back into the ring and tries to fight both Solo and Tama Tonga. Well, of course, he gets the upper hand a little bit, but being held by security, Solo was able to jump and hit him with the Samoan spike right to the neck, knocks him down. And, what I really thought was interesting is Tama Tonga goes out to get a chair to do more damage to Kevin Owens. And Nick Aldis, as the GM, basically stands right in front of Tama, basically stopping him from attacking Kevin Owens. Now, again, I always talk about Nick Aldis, but I really am starting to wonder the way they're having him be more physical. Again, yes, he's a GM. Yes, Adam Pearce does that too. But I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if they're doing a small little burn hint to Nick Aldis's return to the ring, because really he's still in great shape. He's still technically active. I don't believe he's retired. They just have him in a GM role. So I'm really starting to wonder if they're starting to hint at a little something here. So I'm going to go back to Ram Jam. Sorry, I missed you earlier. The new tag team titles for SmackDown was a lot better looking than the World Tag Team titles. I agree. So again, what we get next after this, excuse me, is we actually get, again, a reminder that the draft is coming. This is basically going to happen. You know, things are going to essentially change. And what I really loved about this part was we actually go out to the back, and Nick Aldis is taking Paul Heyman to the back saying, did you know about this? And of course, Paul's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Well, we pan over in the background. We see one car is bashed into the driver's side of another car. Essentially him telling Paul, look, Tama Tonga ran into Kevin Owens' car. That's why Kevin Owens looks the way he did. He just basically bashed into him and said, look, I'm not having this. The next week is the draft, and we're not going to do this. We don't do this on this show. I maintain control. Again, Nick Aldis is basically telling the Bloodline, either they get it together. Paul, you either tell them to get it together or not. What I'm loving here is Paul's facials. He's literally just mortified at what he's been seeing with Kevin Owens bleeding, with this, of course, attack from Tama Tonga onto Kevin Owens. So really, it's interesting to see Paul Heyman scared of Solo and Tama. Essentially, he's kind of now a prisoner of the Bloodline. When he's really been the wise man, he's more now the prisoner of the Bloodline than anything else. So, again, very interesting how they are working that angle. Again, I'm kind of loving that Nick Aldis is, again, not being feckless like Adam Pearce is, and really establishing that he is the GM and he's not going to take this. Now, granted, last couple of months with Roman pretty much just laughs at him and nothing comes of it, but I'm still curious as to why they're having him be so specific now. So, again, interesting theory at least. So what we get next is actually a match with Carlito with Selena Vega versus Santos Escobar with Elektra Lopez. Now, I've got to say kudos to start out with Elektra Lopez. She looks in great shape in NXT. She's changed her entire physique, it seems like. Again, not bashing one or the other, but I just have to say kudos to Elektra Lopez changing from NXT to SmackDown. Looks great. This match was basically set up. Essentially, they had an earlier interview with Legado del Fantasma and Santos, basically saying, look, for the last time, we did not attack Dragon Lee before WrestleMania. That was not us. So, for those of us who watched for a while, I still think the theory that it's going to be Carlito is going to be the one that's been revealed that had attacked Dragon Lee. But again, we have this match, Carlito versus Santos Escobar. Pretty decent match. Again, nothing to really holler home about, I'd say. Again, we talk about, Legado del Fantasma and LWO. They've been feuding for months and months and months now. Again, I'm waiting for a resolution. I'm waiting for this big six-man tag. I'm waiting for this feud to end. I think it's time to end now. We've kind of put it out as long as we can. So, again, what we actually get is Santos Escobar. Pretty interesting finish, I thought. So, you got Carlito on the apron to the outside, right? Literally going to be possibly knocked into Elektra Lopez. Essentially stops and tells the referee, get her out of here. As the ref bends through the ropes to tell Elektra Lopez to move, he goes into the ropes, and Santos actually kicks the middle rope into Carlito's, apples, let's just say, or nether regions, and essentially ends up, hitting his finisher and winning. So we actually have Santos Escobar actually winning by nefarious means with the help of Elektra Lopez. Pretty good match again for them too. Again, I wanted a little bit more of a blood feud feeling, but again, it's more of a storyline. But I do like that they use the managers this time, because you're starting to see that a lot more come back with the Triple H era, or the Paul Levesque era, I guess I should say. So again, pretty cool. Next, what we actually have is a Damage Control interview, but there's a little bit of a difference here, and I really kind of like this. We have them from the Skybox. We have not really seen a Skybox interview in quite a while. You've got, the tag team champions, women's tag team champions, pretty much all of Damage Control up there, essentially saying, what do you think about this match? And they're like, look, don't disrespect us. Don't talk about Io Sky. Io Sky can get the title whenever she wants to. This isn't a big deal. We're waiting to see two people we dislike beat the heck out of each other over a title that's essentially going to be ours again anyways, or at least in a jest. The gist of it, I should say. And what's interesting is we actually hear Jade Cargill's theme come on, and we turn into the next Skybox next to Damage Control. There's Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair to watch Naomi's match versus Bayley. So Thought that was pretty good because we had some jaw jacking between the tag team champions, Asuka and Kairi Sane, and Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. So to me, it seems like we're probably going to have a tag team title match in the future, at least with them two kind of talking to one another. So really enjoyed that sort of setup. It was different. It's really a different kind of way that they're presenting stuff now. It's old school, but I do love how we're going to the skybox and that look. To me, it added to the importance of the match. Or here are their enemies and friends watching in the skybox, watching in the crowd, basically getting that experience again. So I don't know. I'm really loving this new camera angles and new designs that they're having in WWE. And not so much for the stages, but that's a whole nother conversation. So before the match, the main event, we actually get a Cody Rhodes promo as he was on a European tour as the WWE Undisputed Champion, because again, he's still technically on Raw as of the draft. Basically talking about, look, congrats AJ Styles for winning. I'll see you in France. He makes a reference of 2 Atlanta boys basically going to battle for the title in France. First time ever one-on-one. And in addition to the draft next week, what we're getting is a contract signing between Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. Again, pretty cool setup. I really am liking this feud so far. Again, it's really basic, but I'm hoping that we get a really good match between these two. And I imagine we are, because look, it's AJ Styles. The man can do no wrong, essentially, in WWE. He's been there a lot longer. He's almost been there, let's see, guys and gals, I want to say it's almost 8 years, if not 9. Yeah, 8 years, I think. So he's been there a long time now. So I'm really looking forward to this match at Backlash. I really think it's a good choice for the post-WrestleMania feud with AJ Styles. Now, will he win it? I don't know. I highly doubt it. But I would love to see AJ Styles win a WWE Championship again. So, again, pretty cool promo from Cody Rhodes via satellite or via from Europe. So, a really cool way they did it with the title. So that from here, guys, we're actually at the main event tonight. It kind of seemed to fly by. I don't know what it was, but it almost was so solid that really I didn't feel the show dragged at any point in this entire time. I mean, I looked at the clock and told my wife, I'm like, look, it's already 8:30. It's already main event time. So, I mean, that's a good show. If you can look up and all of a sudden start and look up and it's already almost main event time, solid show. There's no lulls at all. I mean, every match was pretty good. I never got bored. So kudos to WWE tonight for SmackDown. So the Bayley versus Naomi match. So for those of you who watched Naomi in TNA as Trinity, she definitely got a really good superstar showing over there in TNA, undefeated, women's champion, blah, blah, blah. Donald and I had always talked about Naomi's booking since she's returned to WWE has not really been that great. Again, her elimination at the Elimination Chamber wasn't well received, at least by me, and I'm sure Donald as well. Her match at WrestleMania was all right, but this to me actually finally showcased what we saw in TNA, at least a little bit, from Trinity, or now known as Naomi in WWE. It was a really good match. It was back and forth. They were believable. Again, now, having my history, I mean, again, I would have been surprised if Naomi actually won this one. I mean, we kind of know Bayley is going to have a match essentially with somebody else. We'll talk about that here in a second. But really, this was a good showcase match. It never felt like the finish was telegraphed. I mean, you could almost believe that Naomi could win the WWE Championship, especially one sequence that I really got to give the gals kudos for. There was a sunset flip by Naomi to Bayley, a 2 count, and then she turns it into a submission as Bayley lifts up, puts her in kind of like an anaconda vice almost. I don't really know what this move would be called, but essentially hooking her head and trying to squeeze. And as Bayley's trying to escape, rolls forward into a 2 count, almost a 3 count. So that sequence of events right there I thought was really cool, because you really, I don't want to say don't see that very often from the ladies, but it definitely was a really cool sequence. This match was going great. I mean, we had a Bayley to belly on the desk to Naomi from Bayley on the outside. And then, of course, without further ado, we became now the Tiffy Time channel, meaning that basically Tiffany Stratton comes out, hits Bayley, attacks Naomi, and really runs Naomi into the post on the left side of the ring, runs Bayley into the stairs on the right side of the ring, if you're looking at the announcer's desk, and essentially rolls them into the ring, puts them next to each other, and hits the PME, the prettiest moonsault ever. And, at the end of the night, we've got Tiffy Stratton standing tall. Again, this is a major thing to me because, again, look, Tiffany Stratton's a star. No matter what you say, no matter what you think. I mean, again, yeah, her gimmick is a Barbie, but she's over. And essentially, I'm hoping we get a triple threat at Backlash. I would not be upset about that. Again, it would give Bayley the win to be able to get out of there, or in the chance that Bayley loses, Do I want Naomi to take the pinfall either way? No, not necessarily, but it does give Bayley a win, but not over Tiffany, and it does give Tiffany a win over Bayley without having to pin one another. So definitely was a cool way to end SmackDown. Definitely the ladies getting a showcase tonight. Tonight's show, again, I'm going to give it an 8. It was solid. Again, there was not any specific thing I got bored of. Everything kind of threaded together. The Solo was in a suit, and look, Solo's beef, at least for now, stems from last week of basically Kevin Owens being in the supposed, or at least previously held, locker room the Bloodline used to be and now taken over by Cody Rhodes, and basically said, man, you can't come in. Solo holds grudges. And again, I'm very, very curious to see how this storyline is going to play out. Because again, you've got Paul Heyman really for the first time in the last 4 or 5 years prior to Brock Lesnar being scared, being afraid of Solo, just his facials. Again, there is a reason the man's a Hall of Famer. So between the Bloodline feud, between the LWO feud that seems like it'll never end, hopefully it'll be good, to the new introduction of AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship. Definitely looking forward to that. And even Tiffany Stratton's introduction into the women's title picture and the new tag team titles with the Street Profits. SmackDown's cooking. Again, in the first week of reviewing Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, I dare say that I'm looking forward to the draft, looking to see who's going to be moving. But that's next week. Again, I want to thank all of you guys and gals for joining me. Let's see. I think we got a comment here. Naomi's submission finisher is called the Slayo Mission. Okay, I didn't know that. Again, kudos, Ram Jim. Sorry for missing out on that, guys and gals. But again, WrestleManiacs, appreciate the feedback as always. Definitely want to make sure that I, comment and give you guys kudos whenever you correct me and or give me some new information. So the Slayo Mission, I really like that. That's really cool. Anyway, so going back to it, we will be back next week, starting reviewing Raw on Mondays, NXT on Tuesdays, SmackDown on Fridays, as well as any PLEs coming up, which will be Backlash in May. And as always, if you can follow me at GamerParowski on Twitter or X, and you as well can follow A+ Opinions as well on Twitter too. And again, guys and gals, thanks so much for joining me tonight on the WWE Smackdown review. I'll see you guys on Monday. Guys and gals, I should say, WrestleManiacs on Monday. So for me, for Adam Dadala, for A+ Opinions, WrestleManiacs, guys, have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Monday Night Raw.